Okay, notice that the copper color is now gone and we've got a uniform-ish, deep kind of a russet reddish brown color, and that's exactly what we want. And the heat, I'm sure some wood expert would tell you that it probably opens the pores of the wood and it soaks in better and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know. But I like to bake it on there before wiping it off using a heat gun. So I know that there are some pipe factories that used to burn off excess alcohol. They'd wave the pipe, freshly stained pipe, through an alcohol flame, catch the thing on fire, and then roll it around until the alcohol burned off. So they may have been doing functionally the same thing, adding heat to the equation there. So this next step is unusual in that most people don't think of paste form leather dye as being suitable for a pipe. However, all of these stains, or the vast majority, probably 90% at least, 95% of the stains used by pipe makers are actually leather dye, meaning purses and belts and you name it. And it's just pigment, colored pigment in an alcohol suspension. And you put it on, it soaks in, and then the alcohol evaporates. Well, you can actually get leather dye that is in paste form. And that's what we've got here. This is designed to put on shoes. And it's distinctly different. If you're going to get into this, I have to caution you, do not just go to a drugstore and get one of those little round tins of waxy, nasty 99-cent stuff. This is a premium product made by an outfit called Johnston & Murphy. They make shoes for rich people, and they make really high-grade stains, or paste pigments in this case, that work great for our application. And this is just plain old black. And what's going on here is that we want the black to go into the crevices and then be, I've forgotten how to do this. There we go. Go into the crevices and be buffed off the high spots. And so that's what we got here. Just exactly like toothpaste. It's about the same consistency on an ordinary everyday toothbrush, the kind you'd use on your teeth. Nothing magic or special here. And just scrub it around. I've got several of these tubes of stuff, and each one has got a different applicator, and I get them confused. All right, we're going. And as long as you swizzle it around thoroughly and it gets in all the low spots, we're good to go. Something unusual in a good sense about this type of shoe cream is it does not dry with an unusual metallic sheen that's kind of greenish, which is most of the liquid blacks that you get, the Tandy dyes and the various leather dyes. Usually, well, first of all, they come in 4 or 5 kinds of black, and they all have a different tint to them. It's surprising, but black is not black is not black. And when they dry, they end up with that same weird metallic color that we saw from the red here earlier. It's very difficult to get rid of. This stuff, however, this Johnston & Murphy, does not do that. It stays as black as squid ink the whole time. Naturally, that's what we want. So, when this is completely covered, we're going to do the same thing we did before, is go dry it in the heat and wipe it off with a cloth rag or towel, and we'll be almost finished with the project. Alrighty, so I'm going to go cook this off of there and be back in just a moment. Or cook it into it, I should say, and then wipe it off. Alright, back in a second. Okay, the black has been applied. I hit it with some pretty hefty heat, blasted it on there, and when it was the drying caused by the heat, let it cool off a bit, and then took a cotton rag that had been dampened in alcohol and gave it a quick once over. Hardly any comes off. This is some pretty bulletproof stuff, but there was a small amount that came off. So we're really only 2 steps away from being finished with this. And the next step is the tricky one, in that you need some specialized equipment to do it perfectly. Or let me rephrase that. I've only found one way to do it that yields a good result. That's not to say it's the only possible way, but I'll show you what that is. But I first have to move the camera to a different part of the shop, and that means tripods and lights and the whole mess. So I'll go do that, and we'll do the magic, and then give it a final wax, and it should be finished, except for the carbon coating in the bowl. But that, as I explained before, I won't be talking about for this project. Okay, I'm going to go set the camera up at the other workstation. Back in a second.